You see the social media posts, the flashy advertisements promising guaranteed returns. It is easy to look at a piece of dirt and buy in, just because someone told you prices will spike tomorrow. 25 years ago, Hyderabad was known primarily as a regional capital, a dense, historic center anchored by monuments like the Charminar. Today, it operates on a different scale. The city has expanded outward to become a leading destination for global technology, pharmaceuticals, and manufacturing. But that rapid expansion creates a trap. Many buyers end up putting their savings into a random open plot purely because a glossy brochure claims the location is the next big thing. Real estate appreciation does not happen by accident, and it definitely does not run on hype. To see where prices will actually rise, you have to look past the marketing and track the measurable economic forces driving the city outward. Long-term land value is the strict mathematical result of three overlapping forces. First, macroeconomic growth dictates capital flowing into a region. That capital generates employment, creating actual human demand. Finally, infrastructure physically connects that capital to demand, making new nodes accessible. Hyderabad is one of the few Indian cities where all three of these metrics have expanded simultaneously over 2 decades. Successful investors do not guess. They deploy capital strictly into specific corridors where these three forces clearly overlap. Let's apply this framework to the western side of the city. Areas like HITEC City and the financial district are saturated with global capability centers and major technology firms. You can see the sheer scale of the corporate infrastructure that has already been built. This specialized commercial architecture is designed to house a massive, high-density workforce every single day. And the urban mobility networks are already fully operational. Transit systems like the metro rail actively move this massive workforce across the city right now. But there is a clear financial trade-off. Because the growth, jobs, and roads are already here, the certainty is high. That means you face extreme barriers to entry and massive price premiums to buy into this market today. Your risk of losing capital is low, but your percentage yield going forward will be vastly diminished compared to the city's newer zones. Now look at the southern and peripheral corridors. These areas operate on a completely different timeline, driven entirely by heavy industry and specialized manufacturing. The city is actively developing dedicated pharmaceutical hubs and complex life sciences research facilities far outside the traditional center. Alongside pharma, you will find localized aerospace and defense manufacturing clusters. These facilities generate highly skilled employment, which eventually drives local residential demand. The trade-off here is the exact opposite of the West. Your entry costs are much lower, but you must accept holding a highly illiquid asset. You have to be deeply patient. You are buying early and waiting for government residential infrastructure to catch up to the new industrial capacity. Rather than pushing in one single direction, Hyderabad operates as a multi-corridor city, expanding strictly along high-speed transit routes. Future growth is tied directly to government planning. Initiatives like the Regional Ring Road dictate where the next wave of urban sprawl happens. These transit rings connect to global hubs. The international airport acts as a massive economic anchor, generating industrial demand for surrounding logistics parks and warehousing. Many investors use a strategy of purchasing open plots sitting squarely in the path of these major planned infrastructure arteries, anticipating the connectivity before it arrives. But you have to acknowledge the ultimate risk. If official government construction timelines shift or stall, your capital remains locked up in isolated dirt. This matrix maps out how different financial situations align with specific corridors across the city. If you are a capital-rich conservator whose primary goal is wealth preservation and immediate utility, you look at the established Western IT zones. You pay more, but you get a functional asset today. If you are a patient optimizer seeking high-yield exponential growth, you target the southern pharma or aerospace zones. But taking that route requires rigorous due diligence. You have to verify the official government status of those industrial projects, rather than just listening to a sales pitch. Surviving market fluctuations comes down to matching your personal risk tolerance and timeline to the correct economic driver. Hyderabad's continued expansion relies on the fact that its economy is supported by multiple industries, IT, manufacturing, life sciences, rather than a single source of employment. The most successful investors completely ignore the promotional brochures. They focus entirely on verifying the structural realities of the location. You have to look at a barren piece of geography and map out the verified transit lines and commercial zoning that will eventually cover it. Because at the end of the day, an open plot of land is only as valuable as the actual employment and connectivity built around it.